into an arm push-up pose. Don't lock the elbows. You can go down on your knees instead. So if this is too much for your wrists or hands or elbows or shoulder injuries or anything like that, then you can do it like this. You can push back child's pose and then come up to like all fours with a little bit more weight on your hands just to start building up that strength. So do what's best for your body. You can skip this move altogether and do any stretch that is appropriate for you today. Built. Keeping that squeeze object to make sure that we're moving in like even hips, if that makes sense, that we're engaging that object, so we're keeping the hips kind of even as we move. One of them can't get out of the move. It has to stay engaged a little bit as we stretch. Our weaker side will always try to maneuver out of things. So will our tighter side. So when we use the squeeze object, we can really work on making things balanced because we can feel the difference more. All right, now let's take one medium pose tricep kick back here. Steps overhead while we're holding our lunge pose. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. Very mindful work. In that pelvic floor and the core nice and tight. We're standing upright. We're holding those legs isometrically and we're opening those arms parallel to the earth. The dumbbells do not come higher than the shoulder joint itself. If you have a shoulder injury, you might even turn your thumbs outward. That can help reduce the risk of injury to that shoulder. Breathe, and then let's take the knees and toes outward a bit. Hands on the middle of the thighs, and let's drop one shoulder. Inhale, come up. Exhale, drop the other shoulder. Just moving back and forth and breathing deeply. Inhale, bring the head up. Exhale, drop. Hold the core and the pelvic floor nice and tight as we move and breathe. But we'll use the wall to stretch like this some too. Now you can keep gently pushing this out as long as everything is staying in alignment, or you can also hug this in. Now if you hug this in, you might want to take the opposite hand to the opposite foot and gently pull that in. So do whichever one is more tight to you. You want to try to flex this foot. That kind of contracts these muscles and helps it protect the cartilage in the knee. And then we'll switch legs when you're ready. So if you find you need more of these stretches, you can repeat again. I've already noticed in the last couple weeks that we've been doing some wall stretches. My hips are getting better. They're not as tight as they were. So I want you to notice how you feel today and over this month. See if they're not getting better. Or I want to know later. You can tell me later if they're starting to feel better for you too already. All right, now one side of the body always is stronger than the other. And with our yoga practice and our strength training, we try to balance that out. So here's where you could use a dumbbell. You could use the lighter or the heavier. It's up to you. We're going to decide which leg we think is weaker and leave that one on the wall. Cross the ankle of the other one up on the knee. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the arch in the neck. And let's lift that hip off the floor And let's do about 10 to 20 of these on each side. You can break it up. You can do 10 right, 10 left, 10 right, 10 left. Or you can try to get 20 at once on each leg to work a little more endurance in that muscle. So you choose how to do that. The weight should be up towards your legs as much as possible. I try to hold it on the hip bones. Try to move that leg and hip and torso in a straight line. Try not to let it waver. All right, and then we're going to switch. And you can put the ankle on the knee and stretch that hip before we start. And then go when you're ready. If you're doing the 20 at a time, you can stretch in between. And if you're doing the 10 at a time, and if you get the 20 done, 2 sets of 10, you could go to 3 sets of 10 if you want. And let the wall hold your feet, or you can lie down on your stomach and reach back and hold the feet. Try to flex the feet if you get hold of them, and do Dhanurasana or bow pose. Squeeze the inner thighs towards each other. Flex the feet against the hands against the feet. Breathe into the belly. Squeeze the back muscles and the abs. Even though the abs are lengthening, you're still holding them in tight. Squeeze the glutes. Open the chest. One of the best exercises you can do throughout your whole life is bird dog. Using this wall, you can really push back into that wall and activate that glute and that low back. This exercise is going to make a very strong back. Push out, push against that wall, reach out through the hand. Hold the abs up tight against gravity. Breathe through it. And then let's have a seat. Let's sit up tall. Take a nice deep breath. And you can just sit here in a normal cross-legged position or half lotus, or you can cross one leg over the other and hug this in to get a little deeper in the glute and work on sitting up really tall and focus on your breath in this position. Let's take about 3 deep breaths here. Now, if you're sitting cross-legged, switch your legs, or if you're sitting in half lotus or full lotus, switch your legs, or that one leg underneath the one leg on top like I'm doing, and hug that in and take those nice deep breaths through the knees. Now, let's take the hips and go down and up. So whether you're on the floor or on the ball, but up and down, don't touch the floor again. Keep the hips in alignment, keep the core engaged. Let's inhale on the way down and exhale on the way up. I want your breath to guide your movement. Let that breath guide that movement. Now, if you're on the floor, you don't raise higher than your shoulder blades. The shoulder blades are the stopping point because we don't want to roll into the neck vertebrae. Keep the natural arch in your neck, no matter which way you're doing this. And gently keep the head pushing back. Now with the ball, you might be able to open these chest muscles, open these arms, and allow that chest to open up and stretch as well as the front of the shoulders. In life, we're pulled too much forward. So in the upper body, we're getting a stretch. And you can do that on the floor too. Just spread your arms wide across the floor. And breathing into the chest cavity, into the right and left rib, into the belly, whatever feels good and right for you at this moment. Try to work each glute equally, so don't just let one side be responsible for the lift. Now hold it up and you're going to press out, 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 out. Press out 30 to 50 times. Knee is not out past the toes. We're stretching underneath this glute on the leg that's up. We're using a focal point for balance. And let's switch into those ribs, opening up. Leg down, keeping this front knee over the heel. We're going to do 10 of these. We've got the support of the heel on that wall. We're going nice and slow. You notice how much more you feel that in your front leg glute or your front leg butt muscle. And we'll just go down and up with that. You can do whatever you want with your arms. Keep that spine in a straight diagonal line. Keep the core tight. Keep breathing. Big inhale with the arms, hands to heart center. Namaste, my friend.